Welcome to the panel Beyond Duality. It's a conscious, loving universe. Dr. Jude, evolutionary cosmologist, planetary healer, author, and co-founder of Whole World View, my beloved husband, Andrew Cameron Bailey, author, inventor, and artist, and I, Connie Baxter Marlowe, an eagle who flies very high and reports back all that I see, are thrilled to have you join us for Humanities Team Global Oneness Summit 2023, the theme of which is transforming our lives through conscious creativity. So, Andrew and Jude, welcome.
It's a treat to be here. What an honor. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be joining you from the very green and consciously creative United Kingdom.
Sweet. To learn more about Jude and her work, please go to the Whole World View website, wholeworld-view.org. And to learn more about Andrew and me, go to thetrustfrequency.net. We have 30 minutes to share our collaborative insights into the conscious, loving nature of the universe, taking the discussion beyond the dualities of right and wrong, good and evil, and victim and perpetrator, to understanding there is absolutely only love, free will, and the soul's journey to wholeness. That everything happens in our lives for us, not to us, so that we bring the gift we promised to bring to the party of life, us, through expressing our conscious creativity in all aspects of our lives. Andrew and I are co-authors of the book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm. And with these 10 assumptions, we resolve several of the major paradoxes that have kept humanity from walking in alignment with our inner knowing through coherence between our hearts and our minds. The paradox we will be addressing here is what we call the love, not love paradox. If there's only love, how can there be all those things in this world we see as not love? War, abuse, disease. We are asking you to take the big leap into the field that the great Sufi poet Rumi speaks of, out beyond right doing and wrong doing, where the world is, quote, too full to talk about. Change your assumptions and the world changes with you. We have an outdated worldview, and people like Jude and other pioneering scientists are updating our operating system with new information about the workings of the fractal and holographic universe. Guess what? We are the universe. I will begin with Andrew's and my contribution to this process, with a few of our trust frequency assumptions, creating the framework for this panel discussion. Jude will speak about our role as co-creators in a meaningful, evolving, and loving universe. And Andrew will address the importance of our attitudes, emotions, and actions in bringing more love into the evolution of the cosmos. Jude will then lead us on a brief universal heart attunement. Okay, here we go. Please listen carefully. I will start with our definition of humanity. We are a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who chose to incarnate on earth on our soul's journey to wholeness, self-love, self-acceptance, and to align with our divinity and purpose. I have already stated that there's only free will, there's only love, there is only the soul's journey to wholeness, absolutely, in this construct, that everything happens for us, not to us. To make this transition, out of good and evil, right and wrong, and victim and perpetrator, we must understand the nature of the love that is all things. Love with a capital L. It is unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. What are our requests? Our consciousness. Andrew and I have identified 7 aspects of our consciousness, all of which begin with the letter A. We call these our requests to the loving universe. But in fact, it's pure physics. Everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. And what we choose to do with these 7 aspects of our lives determines our frequency and thereby our reality. We can live in a reality of fear, separation, and scarcity, or in a vibration of trust, oneness, and abundance. It's up to us. I'm going to state these 7 aspects in one sentence and then hand it on to Jude and Andrew for their contributions to this discussion. Please listen carefully to the modifiers of these 7 A's. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, which is the kicker, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. So, Jude, what do you have to say on these matters? What does all this mean in scientific terms?
Well, thank you, Connie and Andrew, for your amazing work. And just to say that I've had the joy of experiencing our living and loving universe since I was a very small child. You know, I've been directly experiencing that we indeed are microcosmic co-creators of a sentient universe. But like all of us, that wasn't what I was taught at school. It was what I was directly experiencing, but it was not what I was taught at school. Instead, as you refer to it, Connie, we grew up and are still in a mainstream worldview of materialism and separation, and where those paradoxes are just natural, and where the behaviors that come from that perception of separation are also natural. And yet that worldview is now being turned on its head, literally on its head, by leading edge science across all scales of existence and numerous fields of research. And instead, what is being revealed is indeed a universe that meaningfully exists and purposefully evolves from simplicity to complexity and ever greater levels of individuated self-awareness, and as a non-locally unified entity. It's a universe that's far more of a great thought than a great thing. In fact, we're seeing now with the scientific evidence that the appearance of our universe, its energy, its matter, its space and time, that appearance is not its most fundamental nature. Instead, that appearance emerges from deeper levels of meaningful causation and expresses itself in this wondrous world that we are indeed microcosmic co-creators of. And so in that sense, mind and consciousness aren't something we have. They are literally what we and the whole world are. And in this new and yet ancient perception of the wholeness and the whole nature and the meaningful, purposeful nature of reality, love is foundational, because we are inseparable from each other, from our planetary home, Gaia, from our whole universe. And perhaps the most profound description of love is relationship. And that is what we are being seen, that is what we're being shown. And that, it seems to me, is what we're being invited by a universe to wake up, to remember who we really are. So our Global Oneness Summit now, and transforming our lives through conscious creativity is essentially coming into alignment with our universe as living and loving reality, stepping up, answering the invite to become co-evolutionary partners of its evolutionary impulse that began 13.8 billion years ago in its first moment, and not as a chaotic Big Bang. It wasn't big, we know that, but it wasn't chaos. It was incredibly fine-tuned and ordered and relational, enabling it to undertake this evolutionary journey from its original initiating, birthing simplicity to ever greater levels of complexity, individuated awareness, and deeper relational interdependence and coherence. So this explains all that you're teaching. This is the model, this fractal, because fractal are the patterns that scale up and scale down through our universe. Holographic, yes, because our universe is real, but we also have the evidence that it is holographically manifest. And the hologram is wondrous because the wholeness of a hologram is embodied in all its parts, its pixelated parts, and every pixelated part is innately aspects of the whole. So this is supporting and I hope inspiring and empowering and underpinning and framing all that you teach so wonderfully. And just to finish, what perhaps this does, it shows that those questions that do indeed appear paradoxical in the old paradigm of separation are now perhaps to be considered as parallax. And parallax is looking at the whole through different ways, through different directions. So when we see and experience the whole world through a lens of unity, and unity in diversity and unity in belonging, the trust frequency is how we live our lives.
Beautiful, Jude. Thank you so much. My job, ever since I met Connie, long before, but when I specifically encountered this marvelous, brilliant being sitting next to me here, who's now my wife, my goodness, my job became to see if I could put the science behind her extraordinary articulation of the nature of the universe. So I want to talk about love, but love with a capital L, love with a big L, and let you know what we mean when we use the term love in that context with a capital L. It is the primordial energy of the universe that created everything that is, visible and invisible, that sustains everything that is. So that love, yes, it holds things together the same way love with a little L, human love, holds a family together. Love with a big L is that which holds us together, but it's also that from which we emerge. So it's in our understanding is the actual energy, the life force of the entire universe. Quite an extraordinary concept and very different from what most people understand when they see or hear the word love. So I've been playing with this very interesting idea that we have Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared. The energy of the universe, therefore, is the mass of the universe multiplied by the square of the speed of light. Oh, so we can calculate, if we know the mass of the universe, we can calculate the total energy of the universe. What if we can also calculate the amount of love in the universe? That's maybe a silly idea. Jude probably thinks I'm nuts, but it's such a treat to have Jude on this in this collaboration here, because we can ask some really wild, off-the-wall questions. So point being, as I personally have come to understand that everything is love, love with a capital L, including those things that look like not love. As Connie mentioned earlier, that we have these sort of prejudices, these judgments about certain things. Oh, disease is not love. So what if it's all love? It's all here to teach us. It's all here to guide us. The circumstances in our lives are here to guide us. What if everything, every experience we have is occurring for us, for our growth, for our benefit. We're not victims of circumstance, we're beneficiaries of circumstance. So I wanted to say something like that, to have a sort of positive, useful takeaway.
Sweet. And then doesn't that change our attitude
Oh, yeah.
and our behavior?
Yeah.
Yeah, and our emotions, all that changes when we understand that we are so loved by a conscious, loving universe and that we chose this journey to wholeness. So what do you say about that, Jude and Andrew?
I mean, are we completely nuts or only partially?
Well, I take the badge of being a weirdo as a badge of honor, actually, because in Old English, the way of weird was the way of wisdom. It was the way of aligning with the universe and recognizing and allowing that universal flow of love and guidance and invitation to flow through us. So absolutely, this is the way of the weirdos now.
With a Y.
And
the wise, absolutely.
WYRD. Yeah.
Exactly. So the way of the weird, the way of the
the
wisdom.
way of the weird.
The way of the weird.
So that would change our behaviors into opening our hearts and
Yes.
acting out of compassion and empathy and kindness in everyday life with everyone in our lives, including ourselves. So what do you think that when we do that, does that add to the love of the cosmos? Does that transform the cosmos? Because we are the universe. So everything we do, say, think, shifts the universe, right?
So we're increasing the net amount of love in the universe by behaving in certain ways, by understanding the nature of reality in certain ways that results in our behavior, our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts to become what we would call positive versus negative. Things like anger and fear and senses of separation simply dissolve.
Yeah, exactly. That veil thins and we get it. Yes, Jude.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, having written The Story of Gaia, my most recent book, I was tracing the whole evolutionary journey of that 13.8 billion years unfoldment to this moment. And what was so beautiful, amongst many, many other wonders that, you know, were I was able to share, is if we look at the evolutionary journey of our planetary home Gaia for the last 4 billion years, our planetary mother has been able to hold this ongoing journey of complexity, this ongoing journey of our universe in biological organisms such as ourselves, you know, go from the very first single-celled organisms through to each of us with 37 trillion cells within each of our bodies. But what we see are the waves of evolutionary emergence, going from simplicity to complexity. But every time there is a leap forward, it's a leap forward with cooperation. It's a leap forward where you know, the biosphere organisms come together to cooperate. So for me, one of the great beauties of this journey has not been the journey to ever greater complexity and intelligence or individuated intelligence. It's been the evolution of empathy and compassion. And when we go back 6.5, you know, million years to the very earliest hominins, our very most ancient ancestors that came down from the trees of Africa, that left the great apes and the other, you know, chimpanzees and apes there, when they came down from the forest trees, the males and the females of that species were the same size. Whereas for primates, the males are much, much bigger, much, much stronger, much, much more aggressive in the main. Our ancestors, our direct ancestors, formed pair bonds. So I like to say we were built for love. We were built as individuated expressions of that ongoing journey to wholeness, to love each other, not to have domination, but to genuinely love, and then families, and then communities, all the way to this moment when we literally remember that we and the whole universe are love.
Bravo.
Hmm.
Bravo. And as we bring more into the collective consciousness, we shift the frequency of humanity
Yes.
so that the whole humanity can flip and go into that higher frequency and evolutionary step forward. So, Jude, are you prepared to lead us in this universal heart attunement?
I'll be delighted to, Connie. And by universal heart, what I mean is the activation within us of this remembering that we are indeed microcosmic co-creators of a living and loving universe. So over many years within us collectively, more and more, what I call the universal heart or the eighth chakra is awakening as this bridge of remembering, as this bridge of awareness, as this bridge of potential. So yes, I'll be delighted to. So I invite us to attune with the universal heart of our loving universe, with the presence, possibility, and evolutionary potential of these transformational times. And the universal heart is awakening within us as a bridge from our personal sense of self to a greater awareness of the oneness of all that is. We can enter its presence midway between our heart chakras and our throat chakras as an eighth chakra, transpersonal chakra. And as we attune with its awareness, we can then ground ourselves through the ninth chakra, which is becoming known to many planetary healers, especially as the Earth Star, a hand's length beneath our feet and connecting us with the heart of our planetary home and mother, Gaia. So please relax, close your eyes, and gently focus your attention on your breathing. As you breathe out, feel that you're releasing anything in your life that no longer serves your awareness of wholeness and of love, of universal love. And as you breathe in, sense a renewal that flows through you, energizing and refreshing you and nurturing you. Continue to focus on the cycles of your breath, feeling yourself becoming more and more relaxed and at peace. Now sense that you're breathing in a thread of golden light, of loving light, that flows deep within the universal heart of the eighth chakra, between your heart and your throat. You might like to put one or both hands over this to just feel the resonance of what is flowing through you. And as the light flows within the universal heart, sense that a tiny sphere of light begins to form there, and then to grow and brighten with each breath as it becomes a size that you naturally feel, intuitively feel is. Now sense that you're breathing in a thread of golden light, of loving light that flows deep within the universal heart of the eighth chakra, between your heart and your throat. You might like to put one or both hands over this to just feel the resonance of what is flowing through you. And as the light flows within the universal heart, sense that a tiny sphere of light begins to form there, and then to grow and brighten with each breath as it becomes a size that you naturally feel, intuitively feel, is perfect for you at this time. As you continue to breathe into the universal heart, now send your attention and awareness downwards through your body to and through the Earth Star beneath your feet. Deep and still deeper yet, until you sense that you are called to and then reached the heart of Gaia. As you reach Gaia's heart, feel a pulse of her life-giving love returning up and through the Earth Star, up through your body and the universal heart, and on and up to the highest realms of our loving universe. And then a returning pulse of divine love back down into the universal heart within you. Gently pulse this unconditional divine love through you. And as each pulse of love flows easily, gently through your being, feel your awareness expand beyond all limitations of space and time. That all boundaries and barriers gently dissolve as you feel more and more at one with Gaia.
Beautiful, Jude.
Mm,
Thank you so much. Oh, yes. That universal heart connecting to that heart, heart to heart. And so, folks, we've given your mind some information that will allow you to trust your heart and that universal heart and the loving universe so that you can bring your conscious creativity into everything you do. Here are the 7 aspects of our consciousness that determine our vibratory rate and thereby our reality. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. Have fun. Onward to
And-
peace on earth
And upward.
and upward, and trust the loving universe.
You can summarize it all in those 4 words. Trust the loving universe. That's all we have to do.
Jude, do you have a closing comment?
Just to be wholeheartedly grateful for your work and for the universe that has brought us together in this moment. And perhaps to just add that one of the guidances for my own way of being is to always ask myself, what would love do? And then to do it.
Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.